as a part of the Arena Collective, operating systems and how businesses operate are very important to us, and we love talking about it. And in this conversation with Ryan Larussa, he talks about how he runs his mortgage team like a business. It's unique to some mortgage people and a lot of people in the industry. And so if you want to know how Ryan operates his team and really how any business can operate at a high level, check out this conversation with him, because he really tells you the details about how he operates his team and operates his system and how he's been able to grow for the last 25 years in the mortgage business. Ideal audience member is somebody who is in business, in real estate, maybe real estate business, but is trying to operate their business at a higher level.
Yep.
And so the basic foundation of business is pretty much the same, right? You have to have a system in which you operate. And I know that you're very system oriented. We've talked a lot about that today. If somebody's on the outside looking in on your organization and maybe considering joining your team, from an admin standpoint or from a producer standpoint, like what would they look at from a systems standpoint at your team? How are you kind of setting yourself apart from a more traditional mortgage company?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is being able to have the back end handled. Most people that I sit down and meet with, they get bogged down in the day-to-day minutia of the files. They're not leveraging, which I wasn't either, leveraging technology, AI. So like there's a true system that we have that when you pull up, it's called Synergy GPT. It's just like Chat GPT, but it knows all the guidelines, all the product, all that. And I can literally say 560 credit score, 1 times 30 late in the last 12 months, hit submit, and it'll tell you where that loan can go, what you need. Exactly. That's utilizing something that could take pulling credit, going through everything, sitting on somebody's desk. Let me see. Is it an exception? Is it not? That's utilizing technology along with most loan officers that I talk to are like, well, I don't have a team. It sounds great. You got a team. Well, we got all the back end covered. I need you to spend 4 to 5 hours a day in your best use of time, Jared. You got 8 hours to work today. Where do you want to be? Most sales oriented guys want to be in the field, developing relationships and building. But you can't do that if you don't have this back end covered. And that's where we see the biggest gap. So if we can help fill the gap, then people are like, well, heck, I want to go be a part of that.
Yeah.
Who don't want to be part of a winning team?
Yeah.
So you can win, but winning, it feels really good when you're high-fiving everybody on the team. It's lonely at the top. So that I would say that's one of the biggest things. And again, I'm 45 years old. The last thing I want to do is make a change.
Sure.
The most important thing I knew that we had to do was make a change and leverage our team, the atmosphere, and a lot of the things that's going on, because our industry in the past 6 to 12 months has changed a tremendous amount. How much more in the next 6 months to 12 months or 2 years is it going to change? Astronomical. Because everybody starts online, and then everybody is pushed to whatever we say. That's the way that I see it. Like the buyers start online, they get confused, and then they're relying on somebody to coach them to go this direction. When you know that you can get them off the street into a closing room in 2 to 3 weeks, that's a whole different ball game than go put all your information in online, wait for somebody to call you, to hope and pray that you close on time. 65% of mortgage transactions don't go the way that they started off. And at the end of the day, you have a terrible experience.
Yeah.
Did I do what was best for my client? No, absolutely not. So that's kind of our mindset and mentality of where we are.
Yeah. So the system behind the scenes, efficiency with Synergy One allows you to kind of operate with more efficiently, and I have a lot of clarity on how the real estate teams work, right? But on your team, you have some producers, and then you have a processor.
Yep.
Right. And so that person is there to hand off the file and make sure that it gets through underwriting as seamlessly as possible, right?
That's right.
And so how do y'all do that on y'all's team? Y'all have one
Yeah,
processor?
so we have 3.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so again, kind of going back to the goals of like in our buyer's presentation, and I was on my way here today talking to a first-time home buyer. Said, hey, look, here's the deal. We're going to meet in my office tomorrow at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, we're going to do a 30-minute meeting. We're going to talk about the process. So I'm going to gather your information up front. We're going to make sure that we get all the documents up front, because most deals fall out because why?
They've been the documents,
a week, 2 weeks into the deal. Oh, I didn't see that they had a 401k loan on their pay stub. That should have been caught up front.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't see that they didn't have adequate assets, or they got an NSF on the bank statement. Guys, this is not rocket science. But if you have a process and I have 3 people behind me double checking what I looked at. Within 24 to 48 hours, we've caught the mistake. We can either fix it or we need to kill it. Or, hey, not today doesn't mean no.
Yeah.
It just means not right now,
Yeah.
right? So I would rather be able to do that. So we're very intentional about our meetings. We make sure that they understand the process and that they know the Sarahs and Nikel and Dawn behind me are going to make sure that they're going to work with underwriting once we get your file under contract. But before that file goes there, they know their payment, they know their down payment, they know their taxes, they know their insurance, they know everything up front. Mm-hmm. So there is no surprise 2 weeks down the way. I can't tell you 4 or 5 times a month, I get a file on my desk that was a week or 2 weeks away from closing that is not going to close on something that we can save. And I'm okay if I need to become the savior guy for you in order for us to gain relationship. But those are things that are easily caught up front if you're setting that first meeting up with the right intention. What's the game plan for the meeting? Is there a meeting after the next meeting to make sure that that buyer, because they are scared. I don't care what anybody tells anybody in today's market. And even when rates were at 7.5 or 8%, the buyer still has fear. It's our job to mitigate that fear and to say, hey, I don't like turbulence. Neither do you. When I fly, I hate turbulence. I don't even like to fly. But you need to expect turbulence in this process. It's going to be turbulent. I'm not telling you it's going to be smooth. It's going to be turbulent. So if we set the right expectation up front and it's not as bad as what we set it up to be, are they going to be happy? Yes. They're going to be super happy, and they're going to refer Courtney the business. They're going to say, hey, Jared, he was right. We're talking about all that. We're talking about the agent. We're talking about the title company. We're talking about the insurance company. We're talking about everything up front. So there is no, well, Ryan and his team didn't properly explain that. Yeah. We want to make sure that, hey, just because your mom said it's a good time to buy, it might not be your right time to buy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Let's get you in position to be able to help you in 60 days, 90 days, 6 months. And then here's where a lot of us in our industry fall down is there's zero follow-up. Mm-hmm. Zero. Even with closed loans, past clients. Like, when's the last time you heard from your lender? Like, never. Mm-hmm. Okay? So is it transactional or is it relational? But when you set those upfront expectations, then I've got to deliver with my team. And the only way you could do that is to have a team. Most loan officers are a one-man show, and they're trying to do everything on their own. It's just impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
I feel like from my perspective, when I see a loan officer that doesn't have a processor, or a processor that's working on their files, or maybe one or two other loan officers' files, they don't know how much easier their life could be if they would not invest their time and energy in a team. Maybe make a little bit less money, but you can run so much faster.
Yep.
As a salesperson, as a producer, when you have a file that doesn't come out of underwriting with 100 stipulations you got to fix.
Yeah. And I think going back to the technology piece, which I've seen them like literally in today's world with chat, Synergy GPT, it tells you everything you need up front. So there's no guessing. Mm-hmm. The underwriter's literally going behind there, checking off what it's already said you need. So there's no reason to have a deal fall apart.
Let's talk through that. Yep. So that is something that is with Synergy One that is specific to them. Yes. So like other lenders can't use that.
I don't know if other lenders have it. I just know that
you guys have that.
That we have that. And when I saw that, one of the reasons was like speed, ease, and expertise. Okay, I'm not an expert, but I have a lot of knowledge in this industry, and I haven't seen anything quite like that to be able to identify the problem.
Right.
Here's the solution, and get it done. Mm-hmm. That's the most important part that all of our referral partners are wanting to know. What do I need to do to get this done? So I'm not saying it's specific to just us. Other companies might have it, but when I looked high and low, and these guys have it, and then just because you have it doesn't mean it takes away the human element, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
We've got to be able to couple the human element, because they're still scared, the client's still scared,
right,
with the tools to get you from point A to point B within that timeline to make sure that we can win the offer. Because this past weekend, I had 3 different opportunities where we were in multiple offer situations. We won 2 out of the 3. One we didn't win because it was cash, but the 2 out of the 3, guess what the win was?
Them working with you?
Speed.
Oh.
Speed. It was, they knew me, but I said, hey, look, what if we remove the contingency and we can close that loan in 3 weeks? That was the difference maker. And it was an Ascension Parish deal. Everybody wants to go there. They're hearing about the Hyundai $5 billion plant coming in, steel plant's going to, The point of it is, what are you doing to solve the problem other than just saying, well, I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 week close. You have to be intentional. Yeah. And then when I'm talking through with the clients and explaining the offer and talking to the agent on how to present the offer, we're going to present the best offer to win the deal. Right? And the client's got to be okay with that. But that's a big deal for me too. I'll call a lot of times with the client in the office. Hey, Courtney, I have Jared in the office. I just want to let you know, we're looking at $265. He needs $6,000 in closing costs, and he's okay to bridge the gap or the difference. When we're talking that language together, guess what? She's confident. He's confident. We don't stutter step, which in today's market, it's starting to change, right? Thank God. It's starting to change. When you stutter step, you could be the right way to win that deal. Well, if a borrower loses out on a couple of deals, their expectation of where it was to where it is not too good. And then they think, well, man, this is just not for me, right? Yeah. I'm just going to wait for rates to go down. I'm just going to wait for prices to go down, which we've already kind of been through that. We know that neither one of those two things are happening, right? So that's kind of what we see. We got to educate the client up front. We got to let them know what to expect, and we got to properly communicate along the way. Yeah. So
I think to tie this all together on the system side, right? We talked about the back office tech. We talked about the processing that you have. But if I'm a loan officer and I want to join the Larussa team, the system that you use to hold your loan officers, your producers accountable, or the coaching, right? A lot of people get stuck with that word accountability, right? And I know accountability means you set a goal as a loan officer. Tell me what the goal is, and I'll help you get there, right? That's me holding you accountable to your goal. But like, what are the practical things you're doing with your loan officers daily to help them make sure they're on track to hitting the goal they want?
That's great. So I think this is important. Some people are like, man, that's great. I like all the tech, but I don't want to be on your team. So we have two options. You can be on our team. Here's all the things that we're going to provide. You're still going to get the coaching. You're still going to get me and Doug, which is the top producer in the entire state, and all that other stuff that's inside of our branch. But some people just want to be their own guy and go do their own thing, and that's cool too. We'll help and we'll coach. And some people want to be fed leads and relationships and all that, and that's kind of part of the team atmosphere because we're absorbing the back end part. But we have a mix of both. But I think really at the end of the day, people just want to be part of something that is championship caliber. When you walk into the office, you know at the end of the day, these guys are going to war for me. And they got my back, man. They got my back. It's this industry is not easy at all. There's nothing easy about it. I tell people come shadow me all the time. They're like, this is not something I want to do. And that's cool. I would rather us do that up front. So we offer that. Hey, come hang out with me for a day, half a day. I can tell you all the great stuff in the world, but if you're like, man, I got to come see it, come check it out. But I think going back to the day-to-day stuff, when you see the intentional plan from a loan officer standpoint, it's not shooting from the hip. We know where we're shooting. It's a rifle shot, not a shotgun shot. We know every day that we have a theme that we're operating under, and then we have a process. Stay in your lane. I can't go ask my processor 17 times a day, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? The response goes back onto me. Hey, with the Synergy GPT that I just told you about, you could have found that answer out in about 6 seconds. But you had a convenient distraction in your mind to say, well, it's convenient for me to walk over there and interrupt her. Stay in your lane, do what you do. There's too much tech in front of us in today's world to say, man, I don't really know that. As a loan officer, it's our job to kind of know the guides a little bit. I don't have to know everything. But I got to be able to know enough to be able to not go conveniently interrupt my processor, which is trying to get these 3 or 4 or 5 loans to the closing table for Friday. Right? So it's everybody on our team and our organization understands their role, and they do their job. They do their job. They block and they tackle. We block and we tackle. Here's the playbook. If you have any questions, come see me. I'll help you run the play. But you got to do your job and you got to show up. And most loan officers are like, 4 to 5 hours a day of selling, that's all I got to do? Yeah, 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week, you'll be highly successful, right? But most of the time, we're in a file, we're over here, squirrel, we're going wash our truck, we're going to do whatever else. We're not consistent because we don't know who to call and we don't know what to say. Well, if I can teach you who to call and what to say, you're like, I want to go be part of that organization over there because these guys are doing it. And I say guys, like we have a great culture. We got some guys that have been with us for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years in this business.
Long
I'm like, man, I'm not sure if you're crazy or I'm crazy, but it's cool. It's being able to kind of lock arms and lock elbows with high caliber people that want to, just go help more people.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's great.
I love that.